Good morning. It is now 10 a.m., so we're going to get started with our Saturday morning 10 a.m. live. For those of you who are new here, my name is Coach Mika, life and relationship coach and founder of Destination Life Coaching. I have over 20 years of ministry experience supporting God's people, some of them through tough seasons. And I've also done my own personal growth work, so I don't just teach this, I have lived it. I now help Christian women struggling with painful relationship patterns identify the root causes behind those cycles and create healthier, God rooted relationships so they can thrive in life, love, and leadership. Thank you very much for those who've just joined. Please like and share the live so that others in your network know that we're live. And so today we're going to talk about a pattern that I think is really, really, really important. And actually, I think it's so important that I deviated from my content schedule to talk about this specific pattern, because it is critical that we understand it so that we can ask for support, and hopefully you will find that you can trust me to support you, and B, so that we can start making life changes and improve our relationships from the inside out so that we can thrive in life, love, and leadership. And before we start talking about our pattern for today, I would like to ask you to consider going out to the link in my bio, exploring the resources that are there, or going to shop.destinationlife.org and exploring those resources. But first, I would like for you to request the Relationship Pattern Finder. It's a free assessment that's going to help you determine what your primary relationship pattern is, and then support you with steps to move forward. And one of those steps is booking your free discovery call with me so that we can talk through your results and create a path forward for you. And so the pattern that we're going to talk about today is called what self-abandonment is and what it actually looks like. And so I want to ask you a very important question. Are you forgetting yourself? Are you leaving yourself behind? When we look at the pattern of self-abandonment, I think it's really important that we define it this particular time. And according to a Psychology Today article entitled When Loving Someone Feels Like Abandoning Yourself, it was last updated July 23rd, 2026. We can define self-abandonment as self-abandonment is when you ignore your own feelings, your own needs, your own wants, and your own boundaries because you're more focused on keeping someone else happy or keeping the relationship. For example, you say no, but, you want to say no, but you say yes because you're afraid the other person won't like you, they'll be upset with you, or you'll lose the relationship. So again, you want to say no, but you say yes because you're afraid that the person won't like you, they'll be upset with you, or you will lose the relationship. So that's an example of self-abandonment. Are you forgetting yourself? Are you leaving yourself behind? And so here are some signs of self-abandonment. Thank you for all of those who joined. Love 5, thank you for joining. Q, thank you very much for joining and welcome. Please like and share the live so that others in your network will know that we're live. So there are several signs in our relationships that show us that self-abandonment is a pattern for us. The first one is, which is very common, you're hurt, But instead of expressing that you're hurt or expressing that you're not okay, you say, I'm fine or I'm okay. And remember, and I want to caveat that by saying, please remember that disclosure in a relationship actually depends on the relationship. So if you're talking to your husband, right, or your best friend, and they ask you if you're okay, and you say that you're okay when you're really not, that should be a relationship where you can say, I'm hurt, but I will be okay, right? Or if you're in a work relationship and you and your boss don't have that kind of relationship where you can say, I'm, I'm really not okay. No, you can say, I'm processing and I will be okay. So there's a way to express where you really are without completely neglecting your own feelings. So I'm fine is not the right answer when you're actually hurt or when you're upset. Okay? All right. So, and then the next sign is you ask everyone else how they're doing, but you rarely sit with yourself and take time to gauge how you're doing. You override your own gut feelings because you don't want to seem like you're being too much or that you're causing problems, right? So you don't express what's really going on based on the relationship because there's always a caveat for disclosure. I would express differently to my husband how I'm feeling versus someone that I just met, right? Because they have not earned my trust. So there's certain things that I will not disclose to someone I just met that I will disclose to my husband. But there's a way to do it where you're not neglecting or abandoning yourself. I hope that's clear. And you keep showing up for people who stop showing up for you. They don't check on you, they don't call you, they don't see if you're okay, but you keep showing up for them. You minimize your own pain. You say, oh, they didn't mean it that way, or it's not that bad. hmm And then you've gotten really, really good at reading the room. So you read people's emotions and you adjust your personality or you adjust the way that you show up based on how someone else uh, is in the room. So if someone is happy, then you can show up as your happy self. If someone is upset, then you show up as your reserved, stand back self, right? So you're never truly your authentic self because you're constantly gauging how someone else is showing up, and then you adjust your personality to meet them. And that may not necessarily be who you are. That's who they are, and so you're mirroring what's going on with them instead of just truly being yourself. And then this is a really, 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 really big one. So I want you to listen carefully. Someone treats you poorly. Doesn't matter who it is. It can be a church relationship. It can be a work relationship. It could be a family relationship. It could be a friendship, and so on and so forth. But they consistently treat you poorly. But you stay quiet because you want them to like you or you don't want to lose the relationship. That's a big one. And then the final one that I want to cover, the final sign, is you take care of everyone else, but you never address your own needs. And so this can show up for a leader who consistently gives and gives and gives and pours and pours and pours into others. But when it's time to have their own needs addressed, maybe they have a need for something specific in their life and they keep putting it on the back burner for the sake of everyone else. That's self-abandonment. And and remember, when we talk about these patterns, we're talking about these patterns that happen consistently. These are not one-offs. Now, there's always an exception to everything. So I'm not talking about the exceptions. I'm talking about the consistent, habitual pattern that shows up in your life. that's a pattern. It's not a one-off. And at one time, this pattern of self-abandonment served you. It helped you stay safe. It helped you survive whatever it is that you were going through at the time. But now it's causing problems in your relationships because you, your most valuable asset, are now diminishing, neglecting, rejecting, devaluing your own self for the sake of others. Is that really healthy? No. Thank you very much, Tree. Thank you very much, Joe. Thank you very much, everyone who just joined. Please like and share the live so that others know that we're live. And I want you to know, if you don't remember anything else that I said today, I want you to know that you can love people without leaving yourself behind. Say that again. You can love people without leaving yourself behind. Self-abandonment usually is not something that people do on purpose. It's a skill that they learned because it was a way of staying safe or surviving whatever was going on in their lives. For example, they may have learned that staying quiet kept the attention off them and kept them from being attacked verbally, etc. Or they learned that being agreeable kept them under the radar for people who were verbally negative and family members who would tease and harm them with their words if they just stayed agreeable, stayed quiet, and because they did not want someone to pick up on the fact that they disagreed or that they weren't totally agreeable or that they had their own thoughts and opinions and they were not the same as the group that they were a part of, and they didn't want to become a target. Because we know that people with negative mindsets and negative behaviors will often begin to pick on and harm with their words or actions people who may say, I don't agree, or speak up, right? And when you start experiencing that, especially early on in life, you learn that the only way to escape that is to abandon yourself. Okay? Now that you're an adult, or now that you've progressed through life, it's a problem because your needs are going unmet, you're being neglected, and you need to speak up or you need to say how you really feel because you cannot continue down this same road. You cannot continue to put everyone else first habitually. I'm not talking about one-offs, but habitually neglecting yourself, right? And we know that leaders are really good at it. A leader, you will never know that a leader's refrigerator is empty, right? But they show up and they give to everyone else. They make sure that everyone else has something to eat, or they make sure that everyone else has the right thing that they need. But when they go home, their refrigerator is empty. That's self-abandonment. And so we have to learn how to adjust so that everyone, including you, has their needs met. And we have to learn how to adjust so that everyone, including you, feels safe in expressing their thoughts and opinions. So that you're not continually abandoning yourself. Thank you very much, Rita. Thank you very much, Teddy. Thank you very much, Mignon. Thank you very much, Sandy, very much for joining. Please like and share the live so that others will know that we're live. I appreciate you very much. And if any of this has hit home for you, if you're nodding your head, or if you're holding back the tears because you see your patterns showing up and I'm speaking to you, then I want you to know that you can change and that life doesn't always have to be about you leaving yourself behind, that you can have healthy relationships. Start by going out to the link in my bio and requesting the free relationship pattern finder. and book your free discovery call with me, and we will create a path forward for you. Now, maybe somewhere along the way in your life, you learned that your needs were too much, and maybe that expressing an honest opinion led to conflict, or you being targeted in some way. And so you learn to skip that strategy entirely and to manage everyone else's experience instead of your own. That's still self abandonment. And then it's a skill. It's a skill that made sense one time in your life, but now again, it's causing problems over and over and over and over in your relationship. And now you feel stuck because you don't know how to express yourself. You don't know how to say no. You don't know how to say, you know what? I need to buy groceries for my own refrigerator this time. And I am going to request that everyone else uh, develops a strategy to ensure that everyone else has groceries, but this time I have to make sure that I am taking care of my own refrigerator, right? So you don't know how to do that, but you do know how to neglect yourself, and you do know how to keep quiet, to keep the peace, and you do know how to suppress your own feelings and thoughts, right? You know how to do that very good, because that's what it took for you to survive something hard in your life. But now we have to break that pattern, and we have to replace it with something new, right? Okay. If we go to our Bibles, and if we look at Psalms 139, verses 1 through 3, and you all know that my favorite Bible, although I have several Bibles because I'm a Bible teacher, but my favorite Bible is my Billy Graham Training Center Bible. And if you don't have one, I highly suggest that you go out to the link in my website and look at my resources and buy a copy. So Psalms 139 says, "O Lord, you have searched me and known me." It says, "You know my sitting down and my rising up. You understand my thoughts are far off. You comprehend my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways." It's important that you know that God pays much attention to you. He knows you, He understands you, He sees you, and He accepts you wholly just the way that you are, right? And the Lord does not require you to abandon yourself, right? We understand that we're supposed to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. If you look at the language, it does not require us to love our neighbor more than ourselves or less than ourselves, but as ourselves. So that means that you matter. Your feelings matter. Your thoughts and opinions matter. And trust me when I say everybody's not going to like you. And if some people don't like you, that's really a good thing, because if everybody likes you, there's really something wrong. You are operating in a pattern where you're pleasing everybody. Because if you're really being your true, authentic self and you're expressing your own thoughts and opinions, somebody is not going to like it, right? But you learn through safe people, especially if you've experienced early in life a painful experience. Okay? You have to relearn the pattern of the healthy side of that pattern. And you learn through safe people how to speak up. You learn through safe people how to express your own thoughts and opinions. And then the more you learn how to do that, then the less impacted you will be by people who don't like you, or people who talk about you, or people who are mean to you, because you'll be able to brush it off and it will not matter, right? Because you accept you, and you know that you matter, and you know that you are valued, and you know that you are accepted by yourself, by the Lord, and those that He has assigned to your life. Because when you start living authentically and you start expressing your own thoughts and opinions, yes, it will be hard. And yes, you will experience the turbulence at first. Some people will be upset, right? Some people will start feeling like, hey, you weren't always like this, like what's going on, or like, who do you think you are, type of thing. Just remember that when you start experiencing that turbulence, those aren't your people, okay? Because the people who love you and the people who accept you the way that the Lord does, they will be like this. They will say, you know what? I'm proud of you for speaking up for yourself. They will say, you know what? I noticed that you bought groceries for your own refrigerator this time, and you didn't go without food this week. Those people will begin to celebrate the wins. Those people will begin to show up for you. And then people that you don't even know will begin to attract and be pulled into your life as your authentic self shows up more and more and more. And the people who were just attracted to you because they could mistreat you and you not say a word, they could demean you and harm you and hurt you and you not say a word, those people will begin to fall off. And those are the people that you need to lose. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. And I know it can be overwhelming sometimes, which is why I'm willing to walk with you. All you have to do is go out to the link in my bio, either book your free discovery call or download the Relationship Patterns Finder and then book your free discovery call, and I will help you with that. Okay? But just know that the turbulence is sometimes a good thing. And when people begin to fall off, that means that they were never your people in the first place because they weren't good for you. All right? Got it? Okay. All right. So I use a framework that's called the R.O.O.T framework, and the R.O.O.T framework, every letter stands for something. It's an acronym. So the R stands for recognize and repent. So when we've been operating in a pattern such as self-abandonment, then we have to take time to recognize it. And when we actually recognize it, then we need to say, Lord, please forgive me. I've been operating in this pattern of self-abandonment, and I invite you into my process so that I can learn a new pattern. So we recognize and we repent. And then we look at the origin. We look at your origin story, right? And so your origin is where the pattern began. It might have been a painful childhood experience, or it might have been a painful adolescent experience, or it might have been a painful adult experience. It started somewhere. You learn to leave yourself behind somewhere. And so we have to pinpoint it. Not to blame anybody, not to start casting stones at other people, but to simply understand it and understand how it impacted our lives so that we can learn from it and create a path forward. And then we have to learn how to overcome it. We have to learn the necessary steps to overcome it. And I will give you tools and resources to recognize and repent. I will give you tools and resources to discover your origin story. And I will give you tools and resources to help you overcome the cycle. And then the final step is to transform and thrive. That is the steps where you will start experiencing the turbulence, right? And some people in your life will begin to fall off. Those are not your people, okay? I want you to lay your hands on yourself and say the turbulence is a necessary step in my progress and in my growth. The people who fall off are not my people, because the people who love you and accept you wholly, they will understand and they will adjust. The ones who start fighting you, the ones who start battling you and start being negative, those are not your people. And I keep saying it because some of us are experiencing that. And we need to know it's okay when they fall off. I know that we don't like it. I know that it hurts, especially if they've been in your life for a very long time. And and if you're like me, you're very loving and accepting of everyone else, and you wonder why they have a problem with you now. Well, you have to understand that you were not being your authentic self for all this time. You were operating in a negative pattern. And they liked that version of you because they could control that version of you. They could get what they wanted out of that version of you, etc., etc. But now that you're showing up as your authentic self, or when you begin to show up as your authentic self, the turbulence starts. And it's okay. And if you allow me to, I will be honored to walk with you through the turbulence and support you through that. Because once you get past the transformation stage, then you begin to thrive in life, in love, in leadership. Because your true authentic self starts showing up in life, everyday life, or in the grocery store, in the workplace, when you go to church. If you are a leader in your workplace, at church, in your home, in your family, then your leadership style will begin to change. And then if you're in a romantic relationship, or if you're in a relationship where you love people, like a platonic relationship between sisters, and or platonic relationship between friends, then you will show up as your authentic self, and you will be able to enjoy those relationships as well as the other people who enjoy those relationships. You won't be left out. You won't be leaving yourself behind, but you will be a valid and valuable part of the relationship, because the relationship is healthy and it will no longer feel heavy and grievous. Right? Okay. And there is a story that I want to share with you. If you're new to me, then I want you to know that I'm an author of a book. It's called Fully Delivered. The book is called Fully Delivered, and it's by me. It is a novel, right? So the main character of the book is called Zeta Madison Cole. So Zeta experienced a painful childhood experience. And you will see in the book where Zeta walks through my root process. Zeta will walk through my root process. She had a painful experience that kept showing up in her relationships, and she got tired of it. And so she began to try to find out why she's stuck in this pattern in her relationships. And then she had an aha moment, and she was able to recognize her own pattern. And then she was able to pinpoint the pattern to her origin story. And then it walks you through how, from a very high level, she was able to overcome it and then transform and have better relationships on the other side of walking through the root process. The book is called Fully Delivered. It's a novel. And I encourage you to go out to the link in my bio and purchase a copy of the book and read it, because it will help you see what the root framework looks like at a very, very high level for someone who's stuck in a painful relationship pattern and they want a way out. They want to learn how to be better, and they want to have healthier relationships so they can thrive in life, love, and leadership. And as we bring our life to a close, I want you to know that you don't have to keep abandoning yourself to be loved by others or to have healthy relationships. You are allowed to be fully present and to be fully your authentic self with your own feelings, your own needs, and your own thoughts and opinions. And the right people will love and accept you. And the people who are in your life that begin to fall off, they were never your people in the first place, right? There are some people who are born to love every version of you because they love you. They love the you that was stuck in the pattern, and they love the you who begins to transform, who's not yet on the other side of transform, but who's working through their own processes and issues. They love that version of you because they love you. And then there are people who will love the transformed you. The brand new version, the upgraded version of you, they will love that version of you too. And there's nothing you can say or do to get rid of those people because they love you. Because you are valuable. You are important. Your thoughts and your needs and your opinions are just as valid as everyone else's. And they will respect that and they will honor those versions of you. The version of you stuck in the pattern, the version of you going through the transformation, and the version of you who comes out on the other side. They will love all of those versions of you. But the people who fall off, they were never your people to begin with. And sometimes we have to accept those losses, love them anyway, and pray for them that they will find their people because you are not it. And that's okay because we don't have to stay joined to people who continue to put us through painful patterns and who refuse to accept the authentic, upgraded version of ourselves. If they knew us before, they knew us during our transformation, and if they knew us after our transformation, and if they don't like the real you, that's okay. You don't have to go back into the old pattern to keep them. Okay? Because the people who love you and the people who value you will accept the upgraded version of you. So I want you to give yourself a big hug before we close out. And I want you to close your eyes. I want you to take a deep breath. Breathe out. All of that fear of change, I want you to let it go. Because there is a healthy relationship waiting for you. There are people who will love you and value you once you go through the process and begin to grow. They will honor your growth. They will celebrate your growth. They will celebrate you and they will accept you. So if you're ready, then I'm willing and ready to walk with you. My name is Coach Mika. I am a life and relationship coach. I have over 20 years of ministry experience supporting God's people, some of them through hard times. My primary gifting is Bible teaching. I love to teach the Word of God. And I am now a life and relationship coach. And I specialize in helping Christian women who are struggling with painful relationship patterns identify the root causes behind those patterns and the cycles they keep repeating in their lives, and create healthier, God-rooted relationships so they come out on the other side thriving in life, love, and leadership. So if my words have resonated with you, then I'm talking to you. And I would request that you have the courage to honor yourself and go out to the link in my bio, look at my resources, purchase the book, and see what the root framework actually looks like at a high level. Request the Relationship Patterns Finder and book your free discovery call with me so that we can talk about the results and talk about your pattern, the current pattern, and help you create a new pattern based on the root framework so that you can be transformed in that area of your life and thrive in life, love, and leadership. So until next time, I'm Coach Mika, Life and Relationship Coach. Please like and share this live so that others in your network can see it and hopefully receive the support that they need. And have a great weekend. And thank you so much for being here on your Saturday morning. I appreciate you and I celebrate you for taking time out the day to join my live. Thank you and be blessed.